The result of that was the formation of the International Desalination Association. It was formed from two groups, the International Desalination and Environmental Association and the original association of AMTA. AMTA, under a new name, or its original name actually, the National Water Supply Improvement Association, became an affiliate, the North American affiliate of IDA. And today we are in the IDA's offices in Topsfield, Massachusetts, and we're talking to three of the people who I've known for many years, I won't say how many, to talk about the original association that all of us were involved in at one time or another, and the current association, and the importance of having a voice of advocacy for the transfer of this technology to people who really need the end result, that have water supply issues, have water quality issues, and how they accomplish that and how the organization is run. So, I have real pleasure in introducing these three people. Leon Awerbuch, who was one of the early participants in the National Water Supply Improvement Association, was one of the driving forces in the formation of IDA, and has served with distinction on that board of directors for many, many years. Ms. Patricia Burke, who was the first executive director of NWSIA, the National Water Supply Improvement Association. She worked in the industry for a while, and as did Leon, and then has since that day when she became the executive director of NWSIA, has pretty much been at the forefront of this technology transfer and advocacy movement. And finally, but not leastly, Jim Birkett, who I have known also for many years. He has been a consultant in the industry, working with the Arthur D. Little Company, and now has retired, lives in some remote outpost in the state of Maine, and operates his own consultancy. Jim has also been very active in the affairs of IDA over the last many, many years, and it's a great pleasure for us to have him here today.
Early 80s, somehow the concept came up at SWIC that we would like to bring over a group of non-commercial people from the States to see what we've done
in Saudi Arabia
and what we're trying to do and what our challenges are, and just so we can be a little bit more appreciated, and the reality of water in Saudi Arabia can be a little more widely known. So this motley crew was assembled.
But Bill Warner was.
He was over here, but including people from Orange County, Bill Warren. As a stroke of inspiration, they invited a Southern California date farmer.
Yes, the dates.
And Aubrey Watts from Virginia Beach.
Oh, yes.
So we had, let's say 10 people, 10 or a dozen people, who had a tour of East Coast, West Coast, Central Saudi Arabia. And when the conversation would lag, we'd trot out the date farmer.
From California.
From California. Because the Saudis are nuts about dates. And so this guy, whose name I forgot,
but I know the area of California.
He'd start talking this
date language.
Intricacies of date language and varieties and soils and watering. And this was the thing that really kept the conversation from lagging. We could always shift to dates. But it was great fun. And
you didn't explain about the sheep and the camels.
No, that's too complicated.
Okay, we won't go
we're not
there.
talking about that.
Maybe to adding to the history of NWSIA, which is important, we had the negotiation meeting, you kind of brought it up, all over the world. Mm-hmm. Because both groups were meeting in Berlin, in Paris, and each board of that brought together, day and night discussion. And the final discussion, which I for sure remember, Orlando lasted to 3 o'clock in the morning. And our famous friend Gordon Lightner got so mad with intransigence of our partners on the IDEA that about 2 o'clock he said, "Hell with you," and walked out from the meeting.
He said more than that.
Yeah, but, and so some of us prevailed, and after 3 o'clock we finally signed and initialed the agreement of the merger of the two organizations. And that was really a major break. So
it really was.
What was interesting, and I think for history is important, that one of the motivation was to reduce number of conferences. And we used to have every year an WSIA conference, and Dr. Bob Krish with his side had every year an IDEA conference. And so the material those days wasn't sufficient enough to justify double annual events. And so one of the driving forces was who make the major event, which became IDA Congress, only every 2 years.
It grew not really rapidly, but at a nice pace, and then really started to take off at some point when your membership increased, I think up to about 2,000.
It's over that now, of course.
And that was like the late 80s, early 90s. You added affiliates. Mm-hmm. And can you just tell us a little bit about that process, how the affiliate process and what it means? And
well, I think originally, the combinations of where I was working out of my house for a while, and then, as you say, as the membership grew, I think we started to gain some recognition as the go-to organization. We, had a wide reach and breadth of people. So our membership grew, and then therefore our headquarters grew as well. I mean, obviously I was the only person at one point in time. We've grown from that to the offices that you see here today. But yes, it was a slow growth period. On the affiliates, it was recognized that we would act as, the international body, so to speak, but that each of you had absolute validity. And I think at the time of the Constitution, and I know Leon's going to comment on that, that I think we said that there would be at least 5 affiliates that would be like the grandfathered in group. Was WISIA, the American group, the European group, and I forgot what the other one was. But we had about 4 or 5 that were grandfathered in. And I think that to date, we have had, we've had our ups and downs over the periods, but there's relevance to each of these groups. They don't all focus exclusively on desalination. Example, AMPTA looks at membranes exclusively. You look at WISTA, they look at a much broader topic of water sciences. So each of them brings in something. It's not necessarily focused exclusively on desalination. And with continued cooperation, I think that we've done very well on that.
As Doug probably know, because he was chairman
how many affiliates are there now?
13.
13?
The desalination industry as such is clearly growing. And we as an association, both EMTA, IDA, and all other affiliates have a major role to promote, to develop, and advance the desalination to the point that we will provide water to all the people of the world at reasonable and sustainable price and environmentally sustainable. So our goal have to continue to look for new ideas, new technology to provide water for all the people of the globe.
It's a shame that more people don't understand that desalination does have a long and lusty history involving some pretty fantastic corporations and some pretty strange individuals, and over the years it's developed its own culture, its own way of doing things, and these have been developed in response to the prevailing economic and environmental conditions. These driving factors are going to change in the future,